We're back to a normal Polk Nation finally. I'm Jim Mazzolo, Heat Short. How you feeling, Coach?
I'm feeling better. I mean, I was under the weather for really the whole NCAA tournament. I think I got the flu bug, and I got it right before we left, so it was a tough trip, but I feel better now.
Either that, or you just wanted to see what your staff could do under pressure. They performed well.
I tell you what, we're going to have Dana Dunbar here on momentarily. She coordinated all, she obviously is in our compliance department, does a phenomenal job, and she was the one that coordinated the travel and she does a great job, and she just did an unbelievable job. Like, I mean, you're moving 100 and some people around the country.
On short notice.
Yeah,
on very short notice.
Very short notice. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what time you leave. You don't know how many seats are on your plane. I mean, it's just so up in the air. But she was calm, cool, steady. I'm really proud of her.
The one thing I thought was kind of funny was when we landed, there were 3 planes there, and they were all 3 of the 4 teams in the region playing in that little bracket.
I know.
Gonzaga was on the tarmac.
Yep.
We were on the tarmac, and Samford was on the tarmac at the same time.
Pretty cool.
Like, you couldn't divide them up a little bit. Could have played right there.
That's pretty cool.
So the trip, obviously, first trip in 22 years.
Yep.
Salt Lake City, everything. There's a lot of hype. The game itself got out of hand early because I think mostly they looked like they were ready for the big moment, and McNeese didn't, which is something that's going to happen your first time there. But what you saw, what do you think about next year? What do you think about opportunities that this is going to come from? And what did it do for the university?
Well, let's start with the last question. What it's done to the university, you can't put a price on it.
Yeah.
The national branding, the national recognition, everyone knows who McNeese is now.
Yeah.
And more importantly, probably where it's located. The visits to our website, the interest, the application. I mean, it's all increased because of this run to the NCAA tournament. So it's hard to put a price on that. I think that I'm really, really so excited and so proud of what we've been able to do, but I'm even more excited about where we can go. I think that this program right now, and I've said it all along, should be a real mid-major player or mid-major power. We have all the things that you need. Obviously, we have an unbelievable basketball coach that's leading this thing, and he's not going to be here forever. But I think that we have an opportunity to capitalize on this success and become even bigger and better next year. After the game, I saw Coach, right when he came out of the locker room, gave him a hug, thanked him for everything. Unbelievable year. I mean, 30-4.
Yeah.
And the first thing he said is, we got to get better. Like, if we're going to win games in this tournament, we got to go get better. And, and he has been on the recruiting trail from that night.
Well, he's gone now.
That's right. He is on it, and I am so excited about where this program is and what this program can continue to do for this university.
Okay, you say he can't be here forever, but that's what makes Gonzaga to me, is Mark Few 25 years in that seat.
Yep.
Why can't that happen in today's world? Now, I'm not saying Will Wade, but I'm saying why can't that happen? Because we're seeing a lot of coaches make some decisions on staying in smaller schools because the opportunity to get to the tournament is different. Things have changed a little bit, and why would you want to move right now when you don't know what the landscape's going to be in a year?
I'm with you. I think that we can become, I think we can become a real destination place. I think that, coaches said it best. There's a lot of meat left on this bone. I think that we can become something really, really great in men's basketball. And listen, every sport's important.
Yeah.
But at this level, at the FCS level, there is nothing that you can do that brings the notoriety as the NCAA tournament.
No.
I mean, it just isn't. From a national branding standpoint, like when Oakland beat Kentucky, right? Like their website crashed, right? Like it's just it literally is just like magic, So we have to continue. We are continuing to invest because we, obviously basketball. made a lot of money this year, more than over 5 times what it's ever done in the past. We're going to continue to invest in that, which in turn, hopefully we can continue to make more money. And then, which again, at that point in time, helps all the other sports.
Sure.
So, but we're excited. I'm excited about where we're at, Jim, but I'm really, really excited about what we can continue to build here.
Yeah, this is you're on an opportunity of growth right now.
Yep.
But I just I hear everybody say you can't do it here, you can't do it there. And I'm like, well, the landscape has changed so much. What's wrong with trying to do it here?
No doubt about it. I mean, look, with I said it last year. Florida Atlantic and San Diego State made it to the end to the Final Four. In today's world, with the transfer portal, with NIL, with all those things, you're seeing it. I mean, college basketball, it is more. There's a more level playing field now than it's ever been before.
Yeah.
And I think in the next 2 to 3, 4 years, you're going to see a McNeese, type of institution make a run to Sweet 16, Final Four, because for now, like, why not?
Why not?
Why not? It's not, it comes down to, with the portal, it's a different world.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And college athletics now is a different world, and you have to embrace it. And I think that instead of putting your head in the sand and going, oh my gosh, I think it's a huge opportunity for us.
Yeah. When we come back, Dana Dunbar will talk about the trip as she organized it after this on Poke Nation.
Whether it's an injury case, a property case, or a business dispute, our lawyers are at the top of their game. Ask anyone who knows us. At Veron Bice, we don't enter popularity contests. The only ratings we care about are the verdicts we've obtained for our clients. Ask anyone who knows us.
Serving the community of Southwest Louisiana since 1954 and a loyal supporter of McNeese State University for over 30 years, Southwest Beverage has provided scholarships to students, supported athletic programs, and sponsored the Banner Series since its inception. We pride ourselves on being the premier beverage supplier in Southwest Louisiana, offering an extensive portfolio of beer, spirits, and non-alcoholic beverages. We're Southwest Beverage, and we want to say thank you for your support.
Ever since I was young, I've known what I wanted to do. Sure, I had some guidance along the way. Thanks, Mom and Dad. But eventually, I had all I wanted. Family, career. It went by fast. Now I'm here. Retirement. And thanks to sound financial planning, it will be all I hoped for. And our children will have a secure legacy. For me, retirement is the next great chapter in my life.
Ferdinandson Financial Group. Let us help you make a plan.
If you're frustrated with your bank and feel like this when you leave, make the move to Lakeside Bank. Voted best bank in the People's Choice of Southwest Louisiana. At Lakeside, the sun is shining, we have the best personal banking, and our customers are always smiling. Find your way to a brighter financial future. Bank happy. Bank Lakeside.
Welcome back to Poke Nation. It is an honor to have Miss Dana Dunbar. Welcome back.
Welcome.
So, okay, let's get right to it. You did and coordinated, which was an amazing job, all of the travel and the entire trip to the NCAA Tournament. First of all, unbelievable job. But talk to Poke Nation. Like, everyone, they go to the game or they turn on TV and go, oh yeah, we're there. But like, talk about everything that had to happen from the time we got the call, Selection Sunday, all the way to when we played.
So after we won the conference tournament, I kind of knew what needed to be done from softball, prepping that. So all the paperwork side. Our biggest thing was we didn't know what size of plane we were going to get.
Right.
And then also not knowing where we were going till Sunday night. So that was like the biggest kind of pause in the whole trip. Finally finding out Sunday. I'm on the phone Sunday night with our hotel, busing, getting that all arranged, and then we're waiting still 5 o'clock on Monday of what time we're taking off, what size of plane we're getting. But it was a great experience, and I'll do it all over again.
I know, but the crazy thing is like, you're sitting there, Jim, like, I mean, we're sitting there like she, Dr. Roos, myself, John Limke, we're like trying to make decisions without all the information. And her phone's blowing up How about this? And it's like, we don't have any answers. That was the hardest part to me, right?
Yes, the no answer part. It's not like a football trip where you know what size plane, where you're going, what time you're leaving. You're still waiting, and then you're taking off the next day at 1 o'clock was our flight time.
Right.
Trying to relay all this information to everybody going that plane. Like, I need you here at the airport this time. We're taking off then. But
And you're also getting information on how many people want to be on the plane. That's probably changing with the size of the plane, right?
well, originally when we spoke to them, they're like, you could get a plane as big as 106 to 183. So you're moving
Pretty big
around.
difference.
Yeah.
And he's selling every seat on the plane, of course. he possibly can. The one thing I did ask was, do you get assigned a hotel, or do you have to find the hotel? Do you get a list of hotels? Because you got the best hotel. You were less than a block away.
So you're assigned hotels. They have them booked. Again, they know like 2 years in advance that they're hosting, so they block those. We had 100 rooms blocked, so that was going from there. But once you get where you're going, all that information's sent like 5 minutes after they announce where you're going.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a matter of getting on the phone, getting that all organized.
Okay, so because that was, I mean, you were in the best spot.
Oh, it was perfect. Walking distance. We didn't even use one of our buses.
Really?
Just to and from the airport.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty good. And I thought Salt Lake was a great place because you have the train.
Yes.
If you wanted to get around town for free, that's a free train. I used it. So it was. I thought that was really the best place.
Are you surprised you would use a free train?
It's a free train.
But okay, got
Surprised
it.
you didn't hop on one of those scooters they had.
That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
That
I was hoping you'd get on a little scooter.
I'm sure a lot of people were. That would have been an
Going to the
awfully-
game.
Well, I'm going to a different hospital if this happens. I'm not going to any game. But the fact that how many people were interested in coming on this trip, because we saw a lot of people come on their own too. I mean, you guys made a huge impact. There was a big McNeese crowd. I was wondering how many people would go. You had the biggest crowd when it came to the practice day.
Oh, yeah. I think when your team qualifies for the first time in 22 years, there's excitement about it. And like March Madness, we were talking on flight home, like there wasn't an institution that was close by, but it was full of that stadium.
Yeah.
Like everybody wants to go to March Madness. I think that's
Well,
what
Salt
amazed me.
Lake's a big college town to begin with. It has BYU fans. It has Utah fans. I thought that Salt Lake is one of the better cities to have that, especially because everything's downtown. Had you gone to Detroit, we would have been spread out a little more.
Right.
But that's why I think Salt Lake City was good. What was the hardest part of getting? What was the hardest part of deciding, or what was the hardest part of trying to figure out besides the plane?
I guess me being familiar with softball, basketball was a new gig to me, but I was very confident once we got there. They know how to operate a tournament, just going there. Our host was great. Me being, he's like, you're the first compliance person I've ever met that's operating all this. And I said, well, when a team makes it, it's all hands on deck. And you're not going to have your AD or vice president sitting in a room with you till 6 o'clock trying to figure out what we need to do for travel arrangements. Or the team needed smoothies one night, and a group of assistant ADs and I went and got smoothies for the team. It's
That's
really
like-
all hands on deck.
You had people handling baggage.
For sure. Well, like
I noticed you didn't, by the way, but you did have
okay.
people handling baggage.
No, the crazy thing is I had a really bad flu.
Yes.
You guys know because you guys travel, but excuse me. It's the thing is though is that you realize, and this is why we, Jim, you and I talked about making sure we had Dana on the show, was because we don't have a huge staff. Like when you look at Gonzaga and in Kansas and their staffs are just so enormous.
And they do it every year.
Right, but like ours isn't. So like she was saying, like it is all hands on deck, and we all just figure out how to make it work. But this lady here has just been an absolute rock star, and I mean that. Like for her to obviously she's got a very very demanding job, but then on top of it to jump in and basically take the bull by the horns and do all the travel for, you can make an argument the most important trip that this athletic department's had in a long, long time.
Oh yeah, since football.
And it went seamless. Dana has just does an unbelievable job, and she's a rock star. We're so glad that you're here, and Pope Nation needs to understand that this stuff just doesn't happen.
No.
Right? Like you just don't show up to the game and go, wow, how did all that happen? I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different parts moving and everything else. When we come back up, Pope Nation, we're going to talk about how he's going to reward her financially after this.
At Veron Bice, we don't enter popularity contests. The only ratings we care about are the verdicts we've obtained for our clients. Ask anyone who knows us.
you're frustrated with your bank and feel like this when you leave, make the move to Lakeside Bank. Voted best bank in the People's Choice of Southwest Louisiana. At Lakeside, the sun is shining, we have the best personal banking, and our customers are always smiling. Find your way to a brighter financial future. Bank happy. Bank Lakeside.
Ever since I was young, I've known what I wanted to do. Sure, I had some guidance along the way. Thanks, Mom and Dad. But eventually, I had all I wanted. Family, career. It went by fast. Now I'm here. Retirement. And thanks to sound financial planning, it will be all I hoped for. And our children will have a secure legacy. For me, retirement is the next great chapter in my life.
Ferdinandson Financial Group. Let us help you make a plan.
Serving the community of Southwest Louisiana since 1954 and a loyal supporter of McNeese State University for over 30 years, Southwest Beverage has provided scholarships to students, supported athletic programs, and sponsored the Banner Series since its inception. We pride ourselves on being the premier beverage supplier in Southwest Louisiana, offering an extensive portfolio of beer, spirits, and non-alcoholic beverages. We're Southwest Beverage, and we want to say thank you for your support.
Whether it's an injury case, a property case, or a business dispute, our lawyers are at the top of their game. Ask anyone who knows us.
We're back with Dana Dunbar, and I want to say this about the whole trip. That was the most organized trip I've ever been on. I will say that.
That's right.
Now, I don't know if that was part of, but from the buses to the, but you're putting a lot of things together. How hard was it to kind of coordinate team, band, and then fans? Because everybody, teams understand it, the band a little understands it, but fans don't understand what they have to get through.
Yeah, so I was kind of everybody's communication line there. And the basketball team, their director of ops, he's been to the NCAA tournament, but not as an ops. So kind of helping him out with what he needs there. Planning for the worst, planning for the best. Fans, trying to communicate with them. The band, most of them had never flown. So that was a great experience for them. Cheer to, communicating, cheering kicker. Just, you need to be here this time. Just making sure everybody's where they need to be.
Because they got to understand it's not like here where you're deciding what goes on the court and that. They're told what can and cannot happen on the court and what can be done. So you have to coordinate that with them too.
Yeah, and now being there, you're more familiar. Okay, this is what takes place this day. But again, you're not in your home court. You're at the mercy of the NCAA.
Yeah.
You need to be there when they tell you to be there.
And follow their rules.
Yeah.
Obviously, you alluded to it in the first segment. You did the travel for softball. Last year we went to the NCAAs. What was the biggest difference in your mind coordinating that travel versus coordinating this?
So softball, you're planning for about travel size about 30 to 35. This one we're 100, 130 people. But just like the March Madness compared to the softball, like they're both big tournaments, but March Madness, I had to go there every day to check in the team. It wasn't, we just showed credentials and got on the field.
Right.
More strict rules that you had to follow in that sense.
Mm-hmm. And I guess the one thing is that kind of confused me was the NCAA doing all this, but you have to be there for them. How much were you planning on between fans, between all that, and how much were you actually working as part of the team?
I was all over.
Did
But
you get any time to see anything?
a little bit. But
No.
again, I mean,
No, not really.
so that our athletes, that staff, they've done all the hard work. If I was to sacrifice a little bit of sleep here and there, I'd do it all over again.
I say I went out with some friends a couple times because I knew some people from Los Angeles and Chicago actually there. I had a burger with peanut butter on it. Just letting you know.
Good choice.
You cannot make it up.
Did you get like a place or list for fans to go to, or was it basically on their own? Because it did seem like there was a lot of options in the town.
Yeah, and again, our hotel location was great. Like people were walking everywhere. Again, right when we got announced, there was restaurants emailing us like, "Oh, come join us. We'd like to feed you." Like just everybody reaching out because they know how big of a tournament that is.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to host you.
It's a huge deal, and I'll tell you this: when you go in, I was there as a coach, multiple times, but it gives you goosebumps because like it's a production.
Yeah.
I mean, you go walk in there to, where the Jazz play, and there's 18,000 people in there on a random Thursday afternoon. Like, it is, you just realize at that moment how big this stage is.
And you realize it's going on 7 different places at that time.
Exactly
Yeah.
right.
So there's 7 other sites. And that's what I think surprised a lot of people that had never been to one, is how many fans were actually there that weren't associated with the schools.
Yeah.
And then as the underdog, you come in, and if you can do something, you have 18,000 people rooting for you.
Yeah. So Dana, let's do this one. Let's say, we run it back and we do it again. What's the biggest thing that you learned through this experience that would, because next year you're going to do it again. I'm just kidding.
I'm ready. I already have
Okay.
my notes down.
But how would you make it, for you personally, how would you become more efficient? After doing it the first time, obviously you do it the second time, you get better at it. What are some of the things you learned?
Definitely like a better source of communication that we can separate between donors, band, and team. That's something I'd look into. And just being there now, I know kind of what's expected of me on these type of days. I think it's just getting there, experience that, to know what needs to be done the next trip.
Also, I think you can look at, if you know it's going to happen because you've been through it, you can look at those 4 days and do a little prep stuff on some of the sites you might be at too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you really didn't have any idea where you're going to be. Now you would know kind of the process of, okay, we're going to be one of maybe these 4 cities instead of just being surprised by all of it. That seems to be like that might be the biggest thing. Could you do me one favor though? Because I really had a great trip flying out there, and I had nobody on my seats, nobody sat next to me. A little crowded the second time.
We got a smaller plane, Jim.
I know. It's also seen more people got on though.
Yeah, we
people
added
I
a
had
few.
not seen.
We added a few, and it was a smaller plane back, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where'd they come? Where do new people come from? Just jump on the
Everybody.
plane.
They come there, we got to bring them back.
Yeah. Some donors got there on their own and then paid to fly back with us because they couldn't get their jet or whatever.
Well, it changed their jets. I like the way you said that. But also you didn't know when you were coming back either.
That was the hard part, right?
Yeah, I mean, we knew what time it was, but we weren't going to share that till after the game. They're
Oh, they
early
did
to
tell you
tell you
before?
when you're coming back, but not when you're leaving for the site.
So they told you if you win, you come back then. If you lose, you come back
Yeah,
then. Okay.
we knew before tip-off.
Okay, I didn't know that. You could have told me.
We didn't want, it was
That's right.
low.
I'm not going to
But
tell
I'm so
anybody.
glad you were able to make the trip. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you were there.
It's been 17 years since I had been in that building.
I know.
Think
It
about
was
that.
cool.
That
It cool.
was a weird feeling. I will admit that.
But I will say this too. You talked about like Salt Lake was a great city.
Yeah.
The little scooters were really interesting because you could just hop on it, pay, then wherever you go, just drop them off and get on. That's kind of interesting.
You got on a scooter.
I did not get on a scooter.
Okay, 'cause
I told you I was
there's no
sick
way
most
I
of
was
the
getting
time.
on a scooter.
No.
And I think people wanted to see that, but there was no way. I can walk. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, but that's wanting to see it happen again. But obviously a longer stay. But how would that have changed it? Because did they have kind of what you would do in each scenario?
Yeah, so me, from the softball standpoint, I prepped for every, like, worst case scenario,
Yeah.
best. So that's kind of how I went along the basketball one. And talking to our host, like, we would have had all new badges the next day. Like, it's a whole new session, but still kind of the same philosophy.
Right, so you guys
Open
would've gotten all new
practice.
badges?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought that the badges got you in for the whole time. Wow, a lot of work. A lot of work, Coach.
It is. Dana, thank you. You did an unbelievable job, and Poke Nation appreciates it because I'm telling you, it was a lot, Jim.
It was a lot. It's a big production.
It is.
Just see how many people are there.
I mean, you just think about, like she said, moving 120 some people around the country. It's a lot.
It is. And you know the biggest thing about it is they had hot dogs outside the arena. When we come back, we'll go final
And
thoughts
peanut butter hamburgers.
after this on Poke Nation.
Whether it's an injury case, a property case, or a business dispute, our lawyers are at the top of their game. Ask anyone who knows us. At Veron Bice, we don't enter popularity contests. The only ratings we care about are the verdicts we've obtained for our clients. Ask anyone who knows us.
Interesting take on the whole trip. I thought I really like the fact that the hotel was right next to the arena. So and next to the train.
It was great. I mean, but you're right though. Like of all the locations we could have been, I think we had the best one.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, you're 2 blocks from the arena. It was great.
Yeah, and in fact, there's no building between you and the arena. It was a parking lot, and then you're at the arena.
Yeah.
Okay, got to talk about this though. Southland Conference. The news breaks while we're there.
Yeah.
Ironically, that the Southland Conference is going to add Rio Grande Valley, University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. Yeah. We've talked about that in the past. Football in 2025. What does that do for the conference?
It's hard to put it in words. I think it really solidifies us. You think about where we were a couple years ago.
Yeah.
In comparison to the WAC and where we are today, it's night and day. Hats off and all kudos to Chris Grant, our commissioner. He's been forward thinking. He's been completely aggressive. It's been a completely different mindset since he took over as a commissioner. I think it's great for the league. Look, now we have 9 football playing teams. We have a 4-4 schedule, which it helps so much. So we'll see where it goes from here, and see if there's other.
You're not done yet. Don't kid yourself.
And see if there's other Texas schools.
Stephen F. Austin's coming back, folks.
Here we go. Well, we'll see.
They have nowhere else to go. The WAC is. I don't want to say it's imploding, but it's. Why Rio Grande Valley is leaving is the exact reason why you didn't go, and that's the cost of travel outside of football.
For sure. And look, at the end of the day, it's an FCS football league.
Yes.
So, are you going to get on a plane, multiple times to go play FCS football, which makes literally no sense. But I'm excited about where the league is, and it just reinforces the decision that we made when I said, hey, look, let's pump the brakes here. We're not going to go to the WAC. Sam Houston, New Mexico State left. There is no path to FBS football. Let's just stay here and let's get really good. And it was the right call.
Real quick, I want to get into the other sports because we kind of forgot about them for a couple weeks there.
Yeah.
In the excitement. Baseball takes 2 out of 3 from Northwestern.
Yeah, it's great.
I said all along they're a 500 team.
Mm-hmm.
They're better than people think because 6 of their losses are the top 10 teams.
Yep.
Softball is now 5-1, kind of back on track.
Right.
Your tennis team
phenomenal.
Is 14-1.
She's rolling.
And you got football this week that's going to end up with a scrimmage, but they've been hit by the flu bug as well, so they're kind of adjusting their schedule.
Right.
Still a busy week, even though basketball's over.
Oh, it never slows down. But I will tell you that what you said is true. Like baseball, I think is going to be better than people think. Softball is kind of back on track, but what Gabby has done with tennis has been phenomenal. We're nationally ranked.
Nationally ranked McNeese.
She is. I'm just so proud of her, and she does it the right way. She's got great student athletes. She has a great relationship with them. They play for her. I just love her. She's been phenomenal.
I mean, to think about in the last year, your tennis team is nationally ranked. Mm-hmm. Your softball team was within an out of a super regional.
Yep.
Your basketball team received 6 votes in the last AP after never receiving votes ever before.
Yep.
Most of your stuff is trending well.
Absolutely. We got to get football. Look,
there it is.
Look, it's the elephant in the room. I think that we've had a good spring. I think there's still some holes on this roster that we need to get fixed. But it is what it is.
I can't judge because I haven't seen enough of it, and the flu thing. We'll get a look this week.
But look, we have to win football games.
Sure.
We've invested way too much into football to not have return on the investment. It's just simple business, and I expect us to be a lot better. And I
think you will be.
I think so too. I think that the coaches, Coach Goff and the staff have done a really good job recruiting. I think adding Aaron Ingram and reshuffling the staff responsibility, I think will pay dividends. But make no mistake, we got to win football games.
We'll talk about football next week. A little bit more on Poke Nation.